If you're a parent who is just feeling completely at the end of your rope with your child's behavior, I just want you to know you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to talk about what's really going on with ADHD in children. And more importantly, we're going to totally reframe how we think about it.
Does any of this sound familiar to you? You see the school's number pop up on your phone, and your stomach just drops. Every single night, homework is a complete battle of wills. And you're pretty sure you've bought enough water bottles to supply the entire class because they just keep disappearing. It is so exhausting, and it can make you question if you're doing something wrong. And I just want to say, those feelings are 100% valid.
Okay, let's get right into the most important shift in thinking we can make. For so long, the myth has been that these behaviors are a choice, that your child is just being defiant or naughty on purpose. But the truth, and what all the science tells us, is that ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's biological. It has to do with how the brain is wired and how it develops, not with your child's character.
Here's a really helpful way to think about it. Imagine the part of the brain that controls impulses is like a car's braking system. Well, in a child with ADHD, that system is just underdeveloped. It's not that they don't want to stop themselves from blurting something out, it's that they literally can't hit the brakes on that impulse as fast as other kids. It's not a choice, it's a developmental delay.
So, to really get what's happening, it helps to know that these behaviors aren't random. They actually fall into three main categories. Once you see these patterns, everything starts to make a lot more sense.
First up, we have hyperactivity. This is the one everybody thinks of, right? The little kid who seems like they're driven by a motor. They're always fidgeting, they can't stay in their seat, they're climbing on everything. But here's a really important thing to know. As kids get older and become teenagers, this can look different. The constant running around might stop, but it turns into this feeling of internal restlessness, or maybe just constant foot tapping and fidgeting under their desk.
Next is impulsivity. And in young kids, this one and hyperactivity are almost always a package deal. This is that braking system problem in action. It's why they find it so hard to wait their turn in a game. It's the blurting out answers in class, interrupting conversations. They just act first and think about the consequences way later.
And the third one, which can sometimes be the trickiest to spot, is inattention. This can just look like daydreaming, like the child is in their own little world or a fog. They make careless mistakes on their work. They struggle to follow through on instructions. You talk to them and it's like the words just go right through them. And of course, they are constantly losing their stuff. A key thing here is that these symptoms might not become a huge problem until around age 8 or 9 when school really starts to demand more focus.
So if you're sitting here and all of this is starting to sound really familiar, you might be wondering, okay, so what now? Getting a proper diagnosis isn't just about getting a label. It's about being a detective and gathering all the clues to see the full, complete picture of what your child is experiencing.
And when it comes to those clues, there is one number that is absolutely essential. That number is 2. This is the 2 worlds rule, and it's a core piece of the diagnostic criteria. For it to be ADHD, the symptoms can't just be happening in one area of your child's life. They have to be present and causing real problems in at least 2 different settings, like at home and at school. If a child is a model student but struggles at home, or vice versa, a doctor is going to want to explore other reasons for the behavior first.
So the evaluation itself has a few key steps. It all starts with a really thorough conversation with a doctor or a psychologist about your child's entire history, medical, developmental, all of it. Then you'll gather specific info, usually with rating scales that both you and your child's teachers will fill out. And critically, a good evaluation always includes a physical exam to make sure something else isn't going on, like a hearing or a vision problem that could be mimicking the symptom.
So why go through all this? Why is getting this clarity so important? Honestly, it's about so much more than just managing behavior. It's about protecting your child's self-esteem, their very spirit. Just try to imagine it from their point of view for a minute. They really are trying their best. They want to please you. They want to do well in school, but their brain just isn't cooperating. And when all they hear is, stop that, pay attention, and why can't you just, they start to internalize it. These brilliant, creative kids can start to believe that they're the problem, that they're stupid or lazy or just plain bad.
And I want to be crystal clear about this. The goal of getting a diagnosis and finding support is never, ever about changing who your child is. It's not about stamping out their energy or their creativity. It's about giving them the tools they need to level the playing field so that all of their amazing strengths and their incredible brilliance can finally shine.
If you take one thing away from our chat today, please let it be this. You are not a bad parent. Your child is not a bad kid. This has nothing to do with a failure of parenting. By trying to understand what's really going on, you are being the best, most powerful advocate your child could ever ask for. You're shifting from frustration to empowerment, and that is everything.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. For so long, we've all been focused on fixing the behavior. But what if that's not the key? What if the real breakthrough, the real path to helping our kids thrive, isn't about managing what they do, but about taking the time to truly understand the amazing, unique brain that's driving it all?